could smell the brand new leaves growing on the bushes in my brother's backyard, and I was hungry. I went upstairs to the kitchen. Todd had made me breakfast. A bowl of grits and eggs were set on the table. So was a nice pile of money. I stole glances at the cash and scooped the warm buttered grits into my mouth. I dug in. "Brenda!" my brother called out from the other room. "Yeah? Don't take all my money now." I yelled back, "I'm not." But I took a little. Not enough to hurt him, you know. I counted it. $400. I peeled off 120 and stuck it in my titty. That was just enough to do what I needed to do. See, with all that sleep and good food in me, I could finally hear it. The crack cocaine calling. I finished up breakfast and took off toward Broadway. I can't remember if I told my brother I would be back. I knew I couldn't get drugs from the crack dealers down the block. I didn't want them telling my brother, "Your sister was out here buying crack cocaine from us." Plus, he had already asked them very nicely to move their business down the street. He was trying to have a nice house. Todd ran his mechanic shop out of his garage, and he had a lot of women and older guys as his clients. Folks wouldn't come out to him if they had to push through dealers and crackheads just to get their brakes fixed. I had a plan, though. I was gonna go to Chicago, get my high on, and then come back like I ain't done a thing. That was the plan. As soon as I made it to Madison Street, I didn't care how amazing the day was. I just wanted to get high. It was a shame how I spent that day hustling to try to get high. A day that was so beautiful. The flowers were smelling good. I was looking good. Todd was taking care of me. I had on new clothes and my hair was done. But I couldn't wait to get back to that greasy, nasty-ass city and get high. I think about it now. I think that day was supposed to happen 'cause I needed to get to the end of that life. It was a hell of a day. I hopped on the South Shore Line train and headed to Chicago. When I got to the city, I found out there was a drought. Wasn't no drugs on the street. It happens every now and then. Sometimes drug dealers get a big shipment and the police snatch it up. There wasn't nothing nowhere, I promise you. I hooked up with my homeboy Petey. He was one of those dudes who wore work clothes even when he wasn't working. Work boots, jumpsuit, the whole thing. He worked in construction, doing a little work in the neighborhood for $10. Together, we searched everywhere. People who did have some drugs was holding on to it or selling it for outrageous prices. Folks were getting pissed off. It was a whole bunch of mess. Me and Petey stopped on Pulaski Street. That was the spot where I used to go get high, but they didn't have anything. We walked to a couple more spots on the west side, but didn't nobody have nothing. And I was ready to shake loose from Petey. The more we looked for drugs together, the more complicated it got. Petey started having ideas about my money. He started pulling at me saying, "Let's go get something to drink." "Nah, man, let's go spend some of this money." "No way," I told him. He was trying to block my action. Plus, every time I turned my head, here go Petey rubbing on my ass. So I separated. I didn't give away my honey pot. I've been a hoe too long for that kind of nonsense. I went up on Madison to the Holstroll near Kilbourne because I knew you can always get drugs up there. JR's Hotel. It was a 2-hour hotel that the girls could use with no questions asked, was nearby. See, even if you couldn't find it no place else, you could bet your damn dollar they was gonna have crack up there. And I wanted my fix right now. I could feel it in my stomach. I went up to Madison, and I went to this furniture store that this old guy owned. Back when I used to roam K-Town, he used to let me come in there and use the bathroom, do my thing. And he had this young girl he was keeping. She was a friend of mine, Diane, young girl, 17 years old, chocolate and pretty all over. And he must have been 68, 69 years old. Old, bald-head church guy with this young girl. He controlled her terribly. He could control her because she had a habit. I went and asked her if she knew where to go and get some, and she did. Diane asked if she could go in half with me. So she went in to him to get some money, and I could hear them going back and forth. "I don't want you doing that stuff. Wait till later."